Well, hello, and welcome back to Elevated and Unapologetic. I'm your host, Caitlin, and today we're talking about relationships. Did you know that by the title of this podcast? You probably did. And if you are here, you are probably someone who has gone through heartbreak, maybe possibly a divorce or a long-term relationship has ended, and now you're in the stages of healing and growing and figuring out what it means to be in a healthy relationship. And I'm freeballing it today. Usually I have notes and I really plan out my podcast, but today this has been weighing on me and I'm just gonna allow things to flow as they need to. So thanks for being here. Grab a cup of coffee, grab a pen and a piece of paper because I might say something that you might want to write down. And let's dive right in. I'm going to talk about what healthy relationships look like for me now because I think it's important to identify the markers that I have identified at this stage in my life. So I'm 36. I've been divorced for 6 years. I've dated here and there, but I have never had a healthy romantic relationship. I struggle with healthy romantic love, and I've noticed why, because this journey of being single is you coming home to yourself. It is you realizing who you are and what triggers you and how you show up in the world. If you do the work correctly, which I think you are focused on yourself and you have awareness around who you are and how you show up in the world. And that can transform the way you show up in relationships. And I mean platonically and romantically. But when it came to me dating, I noticed, number one, I was attracting the same partners, narcissistic tendencies, avoidant, dismissive, very triggering, and very unhealed people, mostly men, but I have dated some women who also were just not doing the healing work necessary and, trauma dumping or treating me like shit because they haven't done the inner work necessary. So I think for me being attracted to people like that was because I had so much unhealed trauma within myself. And it's so easy for me to sit here and be in the victim chair, which I'm not, and say oh, poor me, and these people just tend to be drawn to me. But when you take accountability and you actually sit back and you're like, wait a minute, I am calling in the same person, male and female, same personality in a different body. Why is that? Can you hear the bird outside? I have a bird feeder outside and they are my favorite things in the whole entire world. I was going to close my door and I was like, they make me so happy. So I'm sorry if the chirping of the cardinal right now is highly annoying, but for me, I'm like, oh, my friends are here to visit me. So hopefully you don't click off this video because of that. Maybe you'll follow me because I love birds so much. Maybe, who knows? Anyways, for those of you who are listening to this on Spotify, I sit and I talk with my hands a lot. So you're missing out on the whole hand motion of how I deliver messages. So just envision a woman sitting in her living room talking with her hands. Anyways, I digress. Let's go back to talking about relationships and these people that I would call in. I noticed within myself, I was attracted to dismissiveness and avoidance and grinding in relationship. I was attracted to that because I felt triggered, and that triggering meant that this person loves me and I love them. When my nervous system was dysregulated, I attached that to me being in love. That is not love. Love, I have come to realize because of my platonic relationships in my life, is calm. It's ease. It's kind of boring, but really fun and safe. And I think cultivating a really deep connection with my female friends has opened my eyes to the possibility that romantic love can be something similar. And I think romantic love, because I've never been in a healthy relationship, I think healthy love can help you grow and transform without breaking you. Does that make sense? How many times have you been in a romantic relationship and that relationship has broken you? Now think to your friendships. How many of those relationships challenge you and have space and expansiveness for you to grow? And I often find myself questioning, what is the difference? What is the difference between romantic love stuffing you inside a box and crushing your soul versus a platonic love that feels like a large container for you to expand your wings as you heal. Like, I often think of a butterfly with a broken wing, and someone unhealthy, maybe perhaps, that doesn't understand that you have a broken wing, puts you in a small box with a couple air holes, right? Versus someone who is healed and nurturing and loving and puts you in a container, and it fills it with nutrients and nature, and they're caring for you and they're talking to you in a kind, loving way. There's a difference. And I want to be the butterfly with the broken wing inside the container that is expansive and full of nature and love. And those two butterflies in those containers don't know the difference, right? This is their circumstances they find themselves in. I've never been in the container in romantic love with that feeling of safety and expansiveness. So I'm learning how to allow that to come into my life in platonic ways, because my nervous system still attaches dysregulation with excitement and love, and we have to chase and we have to like beg and we have to prove ourselves. And it is a slow, long process. It's been 6 years. Okay, I want you to remember, I'm 6 years out of my divorce, and I know I have the awareness, but I know that the subconscious programming and things that I have been taught in my life, because I was raised in foster care, so my whole life has been unstable. That instability is what feels safe to me. And it feels safe for me to, beg people to stay or to prove my worth. That feels safe for me. And I know that's not okay. And that's not what love is. So as I've sat in my aloneness and my stillness and my peace and my quiet, I have had these opportunities to say like, hey girl, hey, this is not what love is. I think dating has been a really great part of my healing journey, because it's given me an opportunity to say no to people right out the gate, to stand in what I believe, and to allow myself the space to see how this person shows up without attaching to it. And if I go back a little bit and we talk about platonic love, the relationship that I formed with the females in my life, because again, female relationships have never been something that I've prioritized until recently. When I build these relationships with these amazing women, there is so much room for growth. And I think it's so cool that I can have hard conversations with these women and they show up with accountability. They show up with the wanting to grow and to communicate and to understand. They listen to understand. They listen to allow for there to be space for connection. It is so beautiful. And I'm not saying that men are going to give me the same kind of relationship that a woman can in friendship, because I think it is different and there will be differences. But I think what I'm searching for is that connection, is that deep-rooted connection where you can show up with all your pain, where you can show up with all your vulnerability and all of your authenticity and your messiness, and land in front of this person as you are. And there's no pretending, there's no games, there's no, what can you do for me? It's not transactional. It is simply just existing in someone else's presence and being accepted as you are. That is what I feel love is, platonically or romantically. Maybe some of you are questioning, like, this sounds great. I love this idea. I love that you've come this far. Thank you, by the way. How do I do it? Because right now you might feel like that seems out of reach, right? Like you're being triggered all over the place and you're feeling out of whack in your nervous system. So how do you do it? What are the steps that you need to take? So maybe the first step is just allowing yourself to be in isolation. Oh my God, the bird is back. Hi. Oh God. Okay. I think they're asking for more food. They're going to have to wait. Maybe this is you allowing yourself this space, because your isolation is actually a fucking blessing. I know it sounds like you don't want to hear that, but I promise you, when in your life are you ever going to have this time to sit and be by yourself, like alone? I don't think people realize how much of a gift your aloneness is, because you actually get the opportunity to sit with the most important person in your life, which is yourself. You came into this world alone. You are definitely leaving it alone. Maybe this is you allowing yourself this space because your isolation is actually a fucking blessing. I know it sounds like you don't want to hear that, but I promise you, when in your life are you ever going to have this time to sit and be by yourself, like alone? I don't think people realize how much of a gift your aloneness is, because you actually get the opportunity to sit with the most important person in your life, which is yourself. You came into this world alone. You are definitely leaving it alone. And I really want you to understand how amazing it is to cultivate a beautiful relationship with yourself, because when you know yourself, when you know your triggers, what makes you happy, how you want to be loved, how you want to be treated, what you like to eat, what you like to drink, what you like to do, when you know yourself inside out, backwards, up and down, a relationship becomes that much more meaningful. A relationship becomes that much more impactful on you and the people around you. It is everything to be alone and to really learn about yourself. And I know how hard it is. I promise you, I know how hard it is. As someone who has struggled her whole life with being alone. I was raised in foster care, abandoned by my parents, and then I moved around 17 times. Okay, no kid wants to do that. No kid wants to go through that. So my nervous system and who I was always seeking for the next person. I needed someone to love me because I didn't understand how to be loved, right? So then when I got divorced and I had no other option but to sit by myself, I felt so uncomfortable. Like my skin would crawl. I would get like itchy, and I still struggle sometimes. Don't get me wrong. I still struggle sitting and, doing the inner work, because it's so easy to be passive and just say like, oh, it's fine. I don't need to do that. And then, I tell myself like, girl, I think you need to sit by yourself. I think you need to ask yourself some questions. But in the beginning, the silence is deafening. The aloneness that you feel is suffocating. Like that, I have all this space around me and I feel like I can't breathe. And it wasn't until I started, really meditating and using plant medicine and just actually, and therapy, and actually like working on me, not just my body and not my physical body, but my mental and emotional and spiritual self. I really started to love myself, truly, wholeheartedly loving who I am, where I've been, how I've gotten to where I am, accepting that things have happened and I've made choices in my life, and I forgive myself. I forgive other people who have wronged me. Doing all of that work has allowed me to arrive here. And I know that you're sitting there shaking your head, or maybe you've already clicked off this podcast thinking this lady's crazy and she's just talking a bunch of woo-woo shit, which it does sound woo-woo. It does sound crazy. It sounds like I am speaking a language that a lot of people don't understand, because we seek out relationship for connection. We seek out relationships for partnership because we are fucking afraid of being alone, dude. Like, we are so afraid of being alone. And I have to question that. I have to ask you, where does that come from? Your fear of being alone, where does that come from? Where in you are you afraid? Why are you afraid of the quietness? Why are you afraid of not being okay with you? You have to ask yourself those hard questions and answer in a vulnerable, raw way. Because if you just sugarcoat it and give a simple answer, like, I don't want to die alone with a bunch of cats, that sounds great to me, versus being in a really toxic, unhealthy relationship. Dying with cats that I'm deathly allergic to sounds way better than being in partnership with someone who does not love, value, and respect me. I mean, there's a longer list, but those top 3 things are really vital and really important in healthy relationships. So, first step, get comfortable with being alone. Accept that you are alone. Accept that this is it. You might be alone forever. How does that make you feel? What if you never meet the love of your life? What if? What if you never meet that person? Are you okay with it? No? Maybe it's time to get okay with it. Ask yourself why. Next step, calling in new relationships. And I'm going to talk about platonic because I have never had a healthy relationship, but I want to talk about platonic relationships because I think it's a very good step towards you having romantic love in your life, if that's something that you seek after you've already had this time alone. Platonic relationships are something that we often don't talk about because we often want most of us desire to have partnership with someone, but I think your platonic relationships can be so fulfilling and so rewarding, and they're so overlooked. So platonic love is having friends in your life. And I'm not saying you need 20 friends. I have 3. I have 3 friends in my life. And I think it's the most beautiful thing in the whole entire world to have 3 friends. They each bring something different and offer different things to my life. And my best friend, we travel together. We share really deep, meaningful conversation with each other. We push each other and encourage each other to grow and evolve and become the best versions of ourselves, whatever that may look like for that person. And it allows us space to blossom and to grow and to be nurtured. And then I have another friend who is in the thick of motherhood, and she is so vibrant and so fun, and she is just in it, you know? So I'm like a friend for her right now. I'm more like her coach, her helping hand, her safe space to come to and just like breathe, because I know what it's like to have kids. You know, I'm a mom. I have 3 kids. I know what it's like to be in the thick of it. So yeah, I'll be your reprieve. I'll be there. One day the tables will turn and we'll level out and we'll be able to catch up on other things. But for now, this is where this is the season that we're in. And it's so beautiful to be able to show up in that way. And then I have another friend, my last friend, and she is a firecracker. She encourages me to be more bold and more like, not brass, but just like to really stand in my power. She's a powerful woman, and she speaks with so much authority and just confidence. But yet when she walks into a room, she's soft and gentle. Just don't cross her. You know, don't cross this girl. She loves trying new things, and she encourages me to break out of my comfort zone and to just go for things. And I think that's really important to have people like that in your life. So while I might not have an abundance of actual human beings in my life, I have an abundance of love in my life coming from these 3 relationships that I've grown. And I think it's possible for you to cultivate these relationships after your season of being alone. Now, if these people came into my life earlier, one of my friends actually, the mom, she is an old friend. So we have gone through things together. Were there breaks in that? Yeah, because I had to take my season of aloneness, meaning I pushed everybody away. And she's the only person that hung out in the outskirts and just kind of whispering in like, hey, I got you. I didn't want anybody. And nobody really checked in on me. She left me the hell alone. But I knew that she was there. If I absolutely needed somebody, I knew that I had someone there. But in that aloneness, you need to isolate yourself. And I mean, for me, I did anyways. I needed to just push everyone away and really focus on myself and my kids. I was still raising children and growing a business and, you know, doing all the other things. But when it came to relationships in my life, the most important relationship I was cultivating was with myself and with my children. And I'm also grateful for that isolation as I'm speaking right now, because I got to grow a really cool relationship with my kids. I am damn proud of the relationship I have with my kids. Like, it makes me tear up thinking about it, just how close we are and how vulnerable we are with each other. We have inside jokes, we banter, we play, we cry, we laugh. We do all the things together. And it is from a place of just pure love and connection. You know those parent relationships where it's codependent and the parents but live vicariously through their kids? I have been so conscious of not doing that with my children. I do want to give them a life that I never got to experience, because I think that's really cool to be able to have money as an adult and still allow your inner child to be well and alive and be like, girl, we have a credit card. We can go anywhere. And I get to have these really cool experiences with my kids and allow them to, be out in the world in a certain way. So I'm really grateful for that. But it's not codependent. I'm not pushing my own ideas or my own mishaps in my life, like things that I wish I did, and pushing them in the direction, because I think that builds resentment for your children. So I encourage them to try all the things. What do you want to do? You have an idea? Oh my gosh, we should totally do that. You want to go try this? We're going to try it. I am all in all the time. I am the yes girl. I love trying new things. So when my children come to me and they're like, hey, I really want to try pottery, I'm like, wow, guess who just bought all these pottery classes? Me. And guess who's doing it with you? Me. I just think it's a really cool way for kids to be able to like broaden their horizons, see what they like. Because we push kids into school and we're like, hey, what do you want to do? Like my 16-year-old is being asked, like, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? What do you mean, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? Like, I'm 36. I don't know what I want to do for the rest of my life. I think what I want to do for the rest of my life is, continue being a empowerment and healing coach and guide people and help people and speak and share my story and my wisdom. However, that might change. Who knows what I'm going to want to be? I might become a farmer. I don't know, right? So putting that pressure on kids is just like overwhelming. And as a parent, it's really overwhelming. The bird came back. Hi, I know you guys ran out of food. I will feed you after. There's like 3 of them sitting out there. Oh my gosh. I just think it's really important to be able to understand where the codependency lies when you're a parent and how you can like not do that, right? We're here to guide them. We're here to help them, not here to be codependent on them. Okay, I totally went off on a tangent when it comes to talking about being a parent and kids and stuff, but you will go from isolation. Being a parent, that's included, okay? You're not going to isolate yourself from your kids. Isolation, building platonic relationships, and then maybe now we're moving in towards romantic love. What does that look like? What does romantic love feel and look like? Well, we don't know. I have zero idea because I've never been there. And I don't know who I am in relationship. I don't know who this version of me right now is in relationship. I don't know how I'm going to be triggered. I don't know how I'm going to handle my triggers. I don't know what old patterns and behaviors are going to rear their ugly heads when the time comes. But I am so excited for a person, man or woman, to come into my life and to love me. And love me in ways that I didn't know I could be loved. And I think that's what excites me the most, is that I love myself so much. Like, I truly value and love and respect myself. And if someone can come in and show me different ways of love, I will be blown away, because I don't believe someone could do that. Like, how cool would that be if someone comes in and they show you a different way of loving that you didn't know you needed? And I think that's what keeps me hopeful about romantic love, but I don't need it. So I might daydream and allow myself to do those things because I'm human and I do want connection in my life, but it's not something that I am grasping at and needing, because I'm totally okay being alone. I'm totally okay continuing to grow and thrive and become the best version of myself well into my 80s if I need to, alone. I don't need a relationship anymore. So those are the I can't help it with these birds. They're so cute. So I think those are the kind of the things that I think about when it comes to love, is like, I'm excited, I'm nervous, and am I ready for it? Yeah. I don't know. This version of myself is just like kind of happy where I'm at. And I'm on a really cool, like, have momentum behind me going in places that I want to go. So I'm like, I don't know if I really want love, like a relationship in my life. Part of me is like, no. And the other part of me is like, wouldn't that be fun? I don't know. I just realized that I have been talking for so long and I have not given you any journaling prompts. I think I asked you some questions in there, but there is a journal prompt that I think, if you guys are into journaling, I think would be helpful, because I give this to my coaching clients all the time. And when you are entering the dating pool, okay, if you are going to be brave enough to download a dating app or put yourself out there, this is a question I want you to ask yourself. Would I want to date this version of me? And I want you to be real, okay? I don't want you to be like, yeah, I'm great, everything's great. Like, actually, honestly, ask yourself, if I showed up to a bar and I asked myself out or I interacted with this version of myself, would I want to date me? If the answer is no, you have your answer whether or not you are ready to be dating. Because I think a lot of people think that they are until they ask themselves, like, wait, what am I putting out into the world? Would I want to be around that? Would I want to date that? I had to ask myself that question, and I ask my clients all the time, and they always say no. Then why the fuck are you on a dating app? Why are you dating? That's it. That's all. So, well, I'm going to wrap up the podcast right there because I think that was the way to end it today. I hope that this resonated with you. If so, please subscribe and like and follow for more. If you feel called to share this with a friend or a family member who might be going through something that can find some inspiration through this. And of course, you can find me on all the platforms. I am everywhere. And I just opened up some more coaching. So if you are looking for extra guidance and you feel like I could be a help in that, you can apply on my website, elevatedsoul.ca. And if not, then I will catch you in the next one. I love you so much. I'm so incredibly grateful that you're here. And I really hope something wonderful happens to you today. Bye, guys.